RotoGrinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper, aka blenderhd, blenderhd. You can follow me there on Twitter. And this is the show, as you should know already. Go over a little bit about yesterday's slate. We'll do something special today we'll be talking about the early slate, right? The slate that locks at 12:20 Eastern. We'll build some lineups, right? I'll actually build the lineups that I'm going to play for the early slate. That's what we'll do. Because people seem to get something out of, this is how I make my lineups. This is how I make the donuts. People want to know. And people want to know any type of strategy, DFS questions you have in the chat. I see you guys. Suki Singh, Apocalypse, Frederick Doot, Daniel Hutchings, Matt Meir, Card Fan, Superman, Tony A., Doug Montgomery, Andrew Garcia. Hit that thumbs up button. Give me the thumbs. I got the apple juice as usual, right? We got some more. I got delivery. I should have apple juice for the next 3 weeks. So I shouldn't be running out, but I won't run out if you keep on giving me the thumbs, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the notification bell to know when we go live. Obviously, if you want to listen later, there's a podcast version of this. So if you want to listen, obviously, you can watch this later on YouTube, right? We archive all the videos. But if you want to listen to it, go to iTunes, go to wherever you get your podcast, search for RotoGrinders DFS pregame show, subscribe there, rate and review. But yesterday, I did fine in cash games, but did not have the White Sox. So if you didn't have the White Sox, you couldn't really do anything, right? Couldn't get anywhere close, nowhere close, right? Billy Hamilton, you pretty much needed him. Not because he hits home runs, because he gets to first base and then he steals everything. And then, how does he have 40 points, right? That's how he does it. Triple, steal, he's stealing home, he's stealing everything. But yesterday was the chalk pitchers got there. Cole, Woodruff, Chalk City, right? Cole against Tampa Bay, in Tampa Bay, with Bill Miller behind the plate, who's like probably the biggest pitching umpire in the league. No doubt. 12 strikeouts, 8 innings, 43 points. Woodruff against the Cardinals, 32 points. They didn't get the win because they didn't give him much run support. And even Urias, he got there against the Mariners, 27.95. So pretty much the chalk pitchers. Ryu did pretty well. Erkwood, he could have done massively if he just didn't, get injured in the fourth inning. And apparently this Caprellian guy, he's just a magician or whatever. I don't think he's a very good pitcher, but he scored 21 points because the Red Sox are just, I don't know. Sometimes they just, I don't know. They get guys on base and then they get into double plays. I don't know what happens to them. But pretty much it was the chalk pitching combination. And you could see across some of the 150 max sharp players, like, not surprising. Like, no one was under Cole, right? We have some that are a little, Need Lunch Money was a little under on Woodruff. For most part, Woodruff was a core pitching play. Urias, okay, Forsaken, Lariotto, bit under. I can understand that. Danny Duffy, I think, was a little over-owned, yet still got there was exposure there, right? Max Fried, we didn't know, but was he going to have a pitch count or something like that? He was cheap. He was like 6,100. So depending on the person, some people played him, some people played less of him. I think 10%, 11%, I think that was efficient ownership. I think 24, 25% for Duffy was, at his price, was over-owned. I think Wheeler was under-owned. I was playing on FanDuel, so it's a little bit different. But I think Wheeler at 9% was a little under-owned. I think Wheeler should have been probably more like 15 or 16%. But that was the pitching. Going to the hitting, the White Sox weren't really that owned, right? The chalk of the slate on DraftKings was the Phillies, right? And they pretty much busted, right? The stack definitely busted, but the pieces, yeah, you could have had Hoskins 12 or Harper had double digits, 13. Nothing that you needed, right? There was no one on the Phillies that you needed. Did Knapp hit a home run or something? I don't know. Did you need any of the Phillies? No, they pretty much busted. Alec Boehm had 2 points at 17% ownership, right? So we had, Phillies here? It's like Boehm, McCutchen, Hoskins. Then the next highest owned stack looks like maybe the Diamondbacks, right? Because they were cheap, right? We have Asdrubal Cabrera, Josh Rojas, Pavin Smith, 9%. So a little bit less. The Dodgers were less owned on DraftKings because they were just very expensive. On FanDuel, they were chalky, very chalky. And Sal Perez, I mean, we look at the Royals, right? Because Perez, there's not much to pay up for at catcher. Soler is still, I think, maybe a little too cheap. Not much as far as the stack. Benintendi was 9%. Okay, so there's some there. But outside of the Phillies, like, the ownership was kind of spread out. Kind of. Teoscar hit a double dong, but the Blue Jay stack didn't get there, so you needed him as like a one-off. But the White Sox were kind of underowned. I mean, not really. 7% Abreu, 6% Vaughn. Let's see. Because look, like Max Muncy was like 5% for the Dodgers. It's hard to get to the Dodgers yesterday. But Grandal was 5%. Aguirre on the Marlins. I played a bunch of Marlins. I played a bunch of Diamondbacks. That didn't really get there. Let's look down here. Moncada was 4%. So they were owned, but not excessively. I played more of the Tigers against Duffy. I played more of the A's against Rodriguez. The Tigers didn't do that bad, but I mean, you basically needed the White Sox. We take a look at the top lineup in the relay throw, 50K to first. We see here, White Sox stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 one-offs. Right, shortstop, not much happened at, so the 6 points, no big deal. And then you had Avi Garcia's home run and Teoscar's double dong. So there you go. There's the nuts. Them's the nuts. And even our own Justin Carlucci, our own, he typically does the basketball stuff. So if you listen to the morning grind this morning, he'll be doing the basketball. They only got a couple of days left, right? But he plays mostly basketball, but occasionally baseball. But there you go. White Sox stack. Right, here you go. With Billy Hamilton at 1%. Vaughn, Hamilton, Anderson, Moncada, Grandal, Cole Woodruff, and then a Dodd, through 3 one-offs. That's what it looks like. 2, Vogelback, Garcia, and Lux. Okay. Need lunch money's top lineup. White Sox stack and 3 one-offs, right? Lux, Rojas, Magnus, Sierra. As long as you had the White Sox stack, you were heading towards the top. And Neil, let's see, what did Neil do? A 5-3 with the Tigers, which, okay, there you go. Cole Woodruff, right? What's the highest lineup that isn't Cole Woodruff? Forsaken, still at Cole Woodruff. Cole Woodruff, Rinpack. Is there anything up here that's not Cole Woodruff? Like, can we see a right? Okay, here's Cole Rodriguez. Obviously, didn't put up enough points. I mean, that's why you're here at 13th place. But yeah, White Sox, it's a 5-3, White Sox Dodgers. And that's why you needed to use a little bit cheaper pitcher in order to fit in these Dodgers. Because, I mean, Billy Hamilton was cheap, so didn't need all. Yeah, Hamilton and Vaughn were really cheap. Mendick, Madrigal, Grandal. So no Abreu, no Moncada. So some of the better White Sox hitters were not in his lineup. But when you get Max Muncy, 27, yeah, and you get Matt Beatty, right? He had a home run, right? Danny Mendick, 0. That didn't matter. But he was what? He was, he's further away. Yeah, he still needed like 20 points to get to first place. So even if you replace Rodriguez with Woodruff and do something else, he probably doesn't get there anyway. That was the key to yesterday, right? The White Sox. I played more of the Marlins Diamondbacks game, but I was playing on FanDuel. Much different. The Dodgers were the chalk on FanDuel. Dodgers and then the Phillies on FanDuel. Diamondbacks were more owned on DraftKings, but less owned on FanDuel. The White Sox were just like in the middle. It's I can only play. I'm not gonna. I don't play like every team. Okay, I played 100 lineups, but it's not like I play a stack of like every team. I make my choices. I mean, it's not like I play only 3 stacks, but I don't play. I mean, yesterday's slate was what, 10 games, right? Was it 10, something like that? I'm not playing 20. I'm playing 100 lineups and 5 stacks of all 20 teams. I don't do that. So I wasn't going to get there. Once the White Sox started putting up runs by the fourth inning, I'm like, just close my laptop. Made money in cash games, so I'm fine. I was profitable on the night overall, but knew I did not have a shot for first. Even with the Marlins Diamondbacks game going off at 9:40, whatever later, it's like, unless this game is like 15-12, like if you don't have any White Sox, you're dead. Right? You're dead. You're dead. Let's see. In the YouTube chat, Michael Dompier asked, do you feel like a sellout having to talk about individual players on the morning grind? Right, mostly kidding. Well, also on the morning grind, remember, we record that the night before. So the night before, I have no projections. I have no nothing. I'm just assuming, right? I'm going in going, this is what I'm assuming this is going to project well. I'm assuming that this is it, but I don't have ownership either. So that's why a lot of times when you listen to me in the morning grind, it's like, I think these are going to be the chalk pitchers, but how chalky are they going to be? I see where the construction could go. If this cheap guy projects well, then that's going to knock out this other guy in the lineup. I mean, like, I'm just kind of formulating what it could be, and then without projections, without nothing. So it's like this it could be this, right? So I'm not giving up picks, right? Like I talked on the morning grind about Luis Castillo, if he's even pitching tonight. I don't know. We were under the impression that he's going to be starting. He's at 6,200 in cores. No one's going to play him. And it's not like Luis Castillo used to be a good pitcher, a really good pitcher. The Rockies are not a good team. So like, but maybe he projects so poorly. Maybe he is a bad pitcher now. I don't know. You tell me he's 2% owned, maybe I take a shot. But if he's 16% owned, I don't. So like, that's what I do on the morning grind. Typically on the smaller slates. That's typically when Stevie has me on. Matt Mears says, I trust the model, in quotes. I don't know. I trust the model when it comes to models like the bat, but less so with ownership projections, mainly because they're more used to be, the more they are used, the more inaccurate they become. How do you compensate for this, if at all? Experience. I could look like yesterday, like I knew Cole was going to be, I mean, he was only 40% owned on FanDuel in the GPP. I was expecting 50, 55 on FanDuel. DraftKings, I would have expected 60 plus. No matter what it said, right? Once Gallen was off the slate, once they scratched him, I'm like, all of Gallen's ownership is going to Cole. It's just people are just going to jam him in. That's what it's going to be. So if the ownership percentage says 38%, like mathematically that makes sense, but I'm like, people aren't mad. Human beings aren't rational. Like, nah, that's not going to be 38. It's going to be like 50, 55, more even, 60. And then you have to compensate everywhere else because you have to go, well, if that guy's going to be owned, then some of these other guys aren't. That's why we take a look at the ownership yesterday on DraftKings. It's like, I could have told you, Derek Cole, once Gallen was scratched, Derek Cole was going to be at least 55% owned, if not more. But you know what that does? That also lowers the ownership, like especially a pitcher, on guys like Zach Wheeler or Erod, even Urquidy. Like Woodruff was going to be owned. Like how is that going to affect ownership of guys like Urias and Duffy? Are they going to be pivots off of Woodruff? Are they going to be pivots off of Cole? But I think Cole was easily the top play on DraftKings. The highest projected raw points, as well as one of the top point per dollar in his salary. So I think people are just going to jam in Cole. So no matter what ownership projections you're looking at, like I know they're done algorithmically to some extent, but you have to put some, human touch to it, right? You have to know human nature a little bit. So sometimes I'll look, especially a pitcher. Batters a little less so. But batters, what you do is you look at the stacks and you go, okay, people are going to think this, they're going to think that. You look at ownership projections, and you may see a stack that's 6% owned and go, that seems iffy. Like they're going to be more like 10% owned. Like it's not going to be dramatically different. And then you look at some stacks that like, oh, they're going to be that the ownership percentage is 4%, and I'm like, I don't even know if they're going to get 4. Like they may be really low owned, right? Maybe they'll be 1.5% owned. Because most ownership projections are done by some type of mathematical formula. using primarily the projections that they're built around. And that's not always that people aren't always using those projections, right? There's different projections out there. Human nature, especially when it comes to like postponed games, rainouts, right? Oh, this team is going to be chalk, and now they're gone off the slate, and that it's a half an hour before lock. Like, how are people going to react? You have to judge that yourself. Am I right all the time? No, I'm not. There's plenty of times I look and I go, oh, I misjudged that. Oh, they were much more owned than I thought they were going to be. I thought I was being sneaky. Turns out everyone thought they were being sneaky, right? You do stuff like that. Okay. Let's see. What I want to do today is not talk about the slate tonight. We have an early slate today, right? I wanted to build lineups. That's what I like doing. Whenever I have a show, a pregame show like this, and there's an early slate, people ask me plenty of times to like, well, how do you build lineups? Do you use this? Do you do that? Do you do this? How do you do it all? And a lot of times, yes, in Roto Academy, if you're a premium member of RotoGrinders, which you can click the link in the description, get $10 off your first month to RotoGrinders Premium, you can see those videos. So I've done plenty of Roto Academy videos. I've done some on the pregame show for free. They're mixed and matched in the archives. But people ask, I want to see how you actually build the actual lineups. Well, we have a slate at 12:20, right? That locks. Why not build lineups? I don't know if we can get ownership for the early slate. I mean, that's the main thing. It's like I'm going to have to guess on that, right? Which I would have to do anyway, right? Oh, no, we're getting ownership. Okay, good. We got it. Okay, so we got something, right? We got all the lineups though? Okay, that's going to be a problem because the Brewers lineup is coming in. Let's see. Okay, Cardinals. Okay, are we even going to be playing the Cardinals or Brewers bats in this game? Flaherty versus Burns? Probably not. Let's see. We don't got a Twins lineup against Lynn. Okay, may not be playing those bats anyway. Okay, so we got most of the bats that we possibly consider. Do we have a slate IQ for the early slate? I don't think so. I think they only run that for the main slates. We can take a look. Yeah, no, we don't got it. We don't got it. But as long as I have ownership, I got something, right? Something to go by. I'm building 12. I'm building a 20 lineup. So we're doing 20 lineups today. 20 lineups for the early slate. I'm only taking this much time because I'm going to be explaining things along the way. Normally, this would take me like 7 minutes to do or something in total. But I'm doing 20. 20 is actually, to me, 20 is harder to do than 100. So it's razor thin. You gotta make choices. Much more so than when you build 100 lineups. It's like, okay, I could burn a lineup here and a burn a lineup there and screw it, right? You could think kind of in that way. I'm building 20 lineups because the payout structure for that $18 DK contest is brutal. 50,000 a first, 15,000 a second, 1,000 a sixth. Like, I don't want to put that many entries in, right? So I'm putting one entry into, if I look at my Excel spreadsheet, I'm putting, which you can't see on the screen. I'm putting one entry into the 121 single entry. I'm putting 3 entries into the $66. That's like 5K to first. That's a small field. 500 people entries. And then I'm playing 16 lineups into the $18 and also a $12, the $12 single entry as well. So yeah, so it's 20 lineups in total. And I sort my Excel file when I do lineups like this. And I'm only doing 20. I just sort it by entry fee because typically those are the smaller contests. So basically, I want the higher projected lineups in the smaller field and the lower projected lineups in the large field. The lower projected lineups are going to have more leverage. So that's typically how I organize it. Now, if I'm playing 100 lineups, sometimes I mix and match. Sometimes I stagger them, so I get a little bit more of a mix. So I've different types of lineups and different types of contests where, like, all my single entry lineups end up being like the same 2 pitchers or the same stack or the same chalk one-off. So I may even use that. Sometimes I RAND function in Excel, just whatever. Sometimes it's just whatever. That's the big secret of DFS. Sometimes it's just whatever. But we're going to take a look at this early slate that locks in an hour. From the looks of it, let me refresh. Okay, we had 11-13 here. I'm using the bat projections. I'm going to refresh the stack projections. From the looks at ceiling point per dollar, looks like we have the White Sox, are they playing some cheap guys? Because that moved up. What's going on with the White Sox? Oh, Jake Lamb. Okay, that's what's doing it. So we got Jake Lamb batting second. So who's not in the lineup? So we don't have Grandal. We don't have Madrigal, which is not that big of a deal. We have Zach Collins in because they became cheaper. Before on the stacked projection page, the White Sox were much further down. So I sort by, I take a look at either ceiling point per dollar, top stacks. These are all point per dollar wise. So I'm going to see Detroit up towards the top against Daniel Lynch because they're cheap. They're ceiling 83. So like if we just sort by ceiling. Now, this includes all the games on the slate because we don't have a way to do it per slate. So if we look just by ceiling, we go to the first game on the slate. So we got Royals have the highest ceiling, but 87.23. Brewers have the lowest at 73.76. But like obviously there's the Reds at Coors later tonight. That's an absurdly high ceiling. But I just want to see the difference between the teams. So 87 for the Royals, 85, 86 for the Nationals, the Tigers 83, Phillies 83, Braves 82, Minnesota 79, White Sox 7. The White Sox are only 79, but I mean they're a little bit cheaper. But there's not that dramatic of a disparity. Now, once you get down to the Cardinals and the Brewers, yeah, now we're talking about 75 and 73. But that's obviously Corbin Burns versus Jack Flaherty. It's like a 6.5 total in the game. I get it. Okay. I understand that. But the difference is between, it doesn't seem like the Royals have the highest ceiling in the slate. Are you all that thrilled ever about playing the Royals? No. But they're up there. The Tigers against Lynch I'm assuming going to be popular. So I'm just judging, just looking at the stack, just on team by team basis. From a point per dollar perspective, it's always going to favor like the cheaper teams that have somewhat higher median projections, but maybe not the highest ceiling projection. So I'm just looking at this. Now, based on this, like the Braves, from a point per dollar perspective, don't come in all that well, right? They're one of the worst teams, or the Twins don't come in all that well. So now that I looked at that, now I'm just going to look at the ownership. So I'm going to take a look at pitchers. Yeah, Burns, Flaherty. I mean, it makes sense, right? Burns, Flaherty gets the pitcher ownership. Then Lance Lynn. Then we got Turnbull, Morton, Eflin. Then Pineda, then Corbin. I'm not sure if Turnbull, only 6K, so I guess. Morton should be a much better pitcher. I mean, Morton's last start was just, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes he's good and sometimes he's bad. I'm more likely to play Morton when he's not owned as much, but that could be today's slate. So Morton may be a choice. Even Corbin, the Phillies are going to be popular. He could come out of his he could be good. Maybe not, but he's 6,400. Just finding a way of not having a Burns Flaherty lineup. So I think that's with only what? We only got 5 games, 6 games? How many games are on the slate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. That's only 5 games. Right? All games, 5 early. We got 5 games. Gotta get different somehow. So maybe I don't want the 2 chalk pitchers together in every lineup. Maybe I don't, especially if they're facing each other. Screw it. I'm going to decide that. We're not going to do that. I ain't playing Burns and Flaherty together. Okay, so that's one way to get difference. Okay, there we go. To make sure that happens. Then we go to the batters. Okay, I'm just taking a look at ownership. What teams are being Oh, okay. Atlanta? Is Atlanta going to be chalk? Really? Is that happening? Because according to the bat, they don't really project that well. They have a lower ceiling than the Phillies, the Tigers, the Nationals, and the Royals, according to the bat. Right. Are they going to be chalky? That's one way. Well, if I'm planning not to play the Braves, so let's take a look. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to build 300 lineups. Let me disable the player group because I don't want to run this with any type of anything. Okay, number of players 1. Let's leave it at 49,000. That's fine. And then I'm going to put the stacks. I'm going to make 5-man stacks. Okay, 5x. Just at 300 lineups. Let's see where it goes. Why am I only getting 5? Let's go. Did I change something that I shouldn't have? Let's see. I got this, that's disabled. Unique players 1. Gotta make sure. Stacks, I got 5x. I got everything here. Yeah, that should work. Let me refresh it. Sometimes it hiccups. Usually it doesn't. Nope. I can't be doing anything wrong. This is what I normally do. Hey, dude, this is what I normally do. We reset all the MLB settings. It should be able to give me 300. Can it give me anything? No, I got to modify something. Can it give me something? Give me something. Okay, it does work. Okay. Let's go back and do this again. Build rules. 300. Stacks. 5x. That should be good. No, it's still. What is it doing? Why is it stopping me? Why is it stopping me? Do that. Okay. I guess that's a bug. That shouldn't happen. So I'm just making 300 lineups. I'm just show me whatever. Show me who fits in the most into all these lineups based on the bat projections. It's giving me a little bit more of a sense of where people could possibly be going. Because when I see that ownership on Atlanta, like, I don't know. According to the bat projections, Atlanta shouldn't be that highly owned. Shouldn't be. Will they be? I don't know. But just based on the point per dollar, I mean, we just go by point per dollar value. Like, the Braves are one of the lowest on this slate. We got the Cardinals, the Blue Jays, right, against Morton, the Twins, the Brewers, and then the Braves against Stripling. So I'm not going to expect the Braves to show up in that many lineups out of 300 based on the bat projections. But that's what I'm looking to see. Maybe for raw, is it a raw points thing? I have no idea. Okay, so we got 225 lineups. Okay, stack summary. Kansas City, Detroit, Philadelphia. Okay, so that makes sense with what we got here. Kansas City, Detroit, Philadelphia. So what do the ownership of these stacks look like? Okay, so we're gonna go team by team. Okay, go to Toronto. Toronto, based on our ownership projections, I'd use the order here. They're going to be owned. There's like a 10% aggregate owner, the average ownership. And the bat really doesn't likes Morton more than the Blue Jays. Okay, Atlanta. Yeah, they're going to be. We're projecting them heavily owned, and they're okay. Acuna is 10.48. That's not like 1.8 point per dollar. That's not like jam them in type of stuff. Dansby Swanson, based on the bat, this game is overowned. Philadelphia. Okay, I expect that against Corbin. But they're saying that our ownership has Atlanta and Toronto higher owned than Philadelphia, and I thought Philadelphia would be the highest owned. Washington, outside of Soto, there, Soto, Bell, who's been horrible. Turner, look, maybe they're a little underowned based on the back projections. KC. Okay, KC's going to get because you get Merrifield, Perez, Benintendi, Dozier. Okay, the Royals are going to see some ownership against Turnbull. Detroit, let's see what Detroit. Yeah, Detroit's going to be popular. I mean, Lynch did not look good the last start, and this team is so cheap, and they actually have a 4.5 projected run total, implied total, and their point per dollar values are great. Okay, so I understand the Tigers. Now, St. Louis and Minnesota and Milwaukee are going to be virtually unowned. Then we have Minnesota against Lynn. They're going to be low owned. And the White Sox. Now, we don't have the updated ownership for this yet. The White Sox actually may be underowned against Pineda on this slate. If this is true, if this ownership is going to Toronto and Atlanta, like we take a look here, like the White Sox, according to the bat projections, have a better point per dollar value than those other teams. But I mean, even a higher, like the White Sox have a higher ceiling than the Toronto, and not that much further below Atlanta. So to me, this looks like maybe a White Sox slate. Maybe it's a White Sox time against Pineda. Maybe. Assuming ownership is accurate, right? This is what I mean by looking through and seeing, what strategic decisions do you want to make on this slate? I haven't built the lineup. Who's the good play? I'm not doing any of that. I'm just looking to see. Normally, I don't have to explain this. This would take me 60 seconds to do. So I'm going to be building 20 lineups. Maybe 3 unique players just to get maybe diversification. 49, 5 or something. Okay, so looking through all of this. Let's update the projections, see if there's anything different. Just update everything. Any questions in the chat? Any questions in the chat? Let's see. People are saying Detroit. Daniel Hutchings says Acuna at 41% is not so right. That seems too high. That seems to. It almost seems like it almost seems like it's not going to be 41%. Daniel Hutchings says that his model predicts Philly ownership is going to be higher than Atlanta and Toronto, but who knows? Michael Dompier asks, is it thinking too much to consider Pineda since Chicago's lineup is pretty watered down? And I assume no one will play him. I don't care about, you're trying to make picks. I'm just trying to decide who is more or less owned than they should be. So if you play Pineda, that means you're probably going to play him in a lineup with high owned bats, right? But according to my projections, the bat projections, Pineda is like the worst pitcher on the slate. One of, towards the bottom, point per dollar value. Right here, right now, we have Corbin and Morton. You have to go by their priors. But if you play guys this cheap, that means you're going to have to spend money on something. Where's there to spend money on? Right? If you play Morton against Toronto, so that takes away Toronto. Corbin against Philadelphia, that takes away Philadelphia. Is there any expensive team on the slate? We could see. Minnesota against Lance Lynn. Do we do that? We do have the Minnesota lineup in. Let's see if there's anything weird about it. Anything weird about the Minnesota lineup? It's not even updated here yet. Okay. But I see someone posted in the chat. Arias, Donaldson, Polanco, Cruz, Larnach, Garver, Kepler, Estadio, Garlic. Okay. Joe Wheeler asks, in small field GPPs, is the better strategy to play optimal pitchers and find leverage in the bats or vice versa? Slate dependent. Well, you have to understand that pitchers are going to be less variant than hitters. That it's still high. Baseball's still high variance. So it's more likely that, like, the more ownership that hitters get, the less likely I want to play them. Pitchers, I don't mind as much. So that's why Acuna at 41%. Like, I can't even see play, even on a 5-game slate. If he gets there, if he hits a home run, then I'm dead. But I mean, it just seems like way too high. But I think I agree with you, Daniel, about the Philly. I think the Philly ownership is going to be higher. But still, we're going to get this ownership in this Blue Jays Braves game. No one's going to this game's for bats. The Royals aren't even that expensive. The Tigers are really cheap. Let's take a look at the White Sox. The White Sox, you could spend up on the White Sox. You could $4,900 for Anderson, Abreu, Moncada. There's a way to still pay for them, right? You take a shot on Morton. You take a shot on Corbin. Can you even do that? Let's see. What does this look like? Like, let's just, I'm not saying that we're going to play Corbin and Morton together. Do I got stacks? I got stacks on. I mean, what do these lineups even look like? I just believe, just to see. Are there Royal stacks? Royals with Soto and Acuna, right? Because it's just spending up on one-offs. Anderson, Soto, Candelario, Corbin, Morton. So I guess they could exist. It's just that your most expensive players will be the one-offs. So basically, you're gonna be playing Acuna. If you play Corbin and Morton together, do I want to do that? If he's gonna be 41% owned, 41% owned Acuna. Do I really want to do that? They're all, well, here's a national stack. It's Royals, Nationals. Royals, Nationals. Royals. Because you can't fit in Tigers anything in here. The Tigers are too cheap. Arenado against Burns. Here we go. Here's a Brave stack. Okay. It's still 230. Do you want to play chalk Braves and chalk? You want to do all this? I mean, this would be the type of lineup where it's like, I'm playing chalky and then not playing Birds and Player. Like, that would be one of these types of lineups. I just wanted to see. So it's basically just getting expensive one-offs, which is fine, but they're also going to be owned, right? It's not like a 10-game slate where you could find, Bryce Harper is 6% owned, and because Acuna is going to be so owned, or Aaron Judge is 8% owned because someone else is going to be owned. Like, it's a very small slate. So maybe you don't play Morton and Corbin together. Maybe you don't play these types of lineups. So I'm going to go into player groups. Flaherty, and Burns. I'm going to take a shot on Morton and Corbin. I'm going to do that. But I'm not going to play them in the same lineup. Okay? So I look at my player pool. I'm going to get rid of Lynch, Turnbull, Pineda, Stripling, Eflin. Do I play some Lance Lynn? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it comes out. Burns actually projects for 10.6K to be less of a play than Flaherty because the Milwaukee lineup sucks. The St. Louis lineup is so much better. But still, Corbin Burns is really good. Doug Montgomery asks, bat projections, what do you use most? Points, point per dollar, ceiling, or ceiling point per dollar? All of them. Because you still want to play high ceiling, right? You don't mind, but they may be extremely expensive. How do you do that? That's why I ran these lineups. Like, if there was an extremely expensive stack, then you probably have to play Corbin and Morton, but there isn't. So like when the Dodgers are expensive or something like that, then you have to figure out what the constructions are. So it doesn't mean I don't play high ceiling teams or ceiling point per dollar teams or point per dollar teams. It's like, how does that construction work? The Tigers are going to be chalky on this slate because people are going to jam in Flaherty and Burns together, and they're going to need a cheap stack. So that's going to increase the ownership on cheapies. And then the other guys are going to be the Braves, right? The Braves, the Blue Jays, the Phillies. The Tigers and the Royals are going to be used kind of as the cheapy stuff. So that's why I think the White Sox just go, because they don't project great, but they don't project badly. But they're just in the middle where they just don't seem to fit. So I'm going to take a look at that. So the White Sox, okay, look, I'm going to go through here. If I'm going to play, I'm playing 20 lineups. So it's like I'm not, if I'm going to be playing against Toronto, I'm just going to exclude them. Okay. So this is what I will do. Right? I go through, I'm going to take Toronto off. I'm going to take Philadelphia. Do I play some people? I'm going to take it off for now. Philadelphia. I'm going to take St. Louis. No, I'm going to keep St. Louis. I'm going to take off Milwaukee. I'm going to take off. Do I play Minnesota? I'll just exclude those. And let's see. In my excluded section, are there any like one-off hitters that maybe I'd want? Do I want Odubel Herrera? No. Reese Hoskins. Do I need a first baseman? Do I need a third baseman? Bohm is going to be owned, and if I'm going to play Corbin, let me put back some Phillies. Let's see. I'm looking for the ownership. I'm like, do I want to play a Bohm one-off at 17%? Maybe not. Hoskins, maybe I don't mind at 9%. So it's single-digit ownership. Maybe I don't mind that. I take a look. Yeah, the Phillies are going to be owned. I think that's you get the reverse leverage by using Corbin instead. This is the strategic choice I'm making. You could go the complete other way and say I'm playing all the Phillies and I'm doing something else, right? I mean, you could do that. I'm just choosing this. So yeah, so I'm going to get rid of the Blue Jays. Hope Moon has a good game. Is there anyone on the Blue Jays worth playing? And not really. Okay. Let's go back to the all section. So Atlanta is going to be way too popular. So let's take a look at Atlanta. Do I even want to bother with this high ownership? Do I want a one-off Acuna? Do I want to one? Maybe I don't mind Azuna. Maybe keep us at 27% ownership. Is that really going to happen? Is this ownership really going to happen? I'll just X him out at this point. I'm not going to play Stripling against him. They have a 4.755 implied run total. Adrianza's batting fifth. Albi's batting fourth. Do I need anything positionally here? Maybe Freeman. Do I need outfielders like this? We'll see. So maybe I get rid of him. I get rid of him. Get rid of him. I'll just leave them in for now. Just for now. Okay, go to Kansas City. Okay, I'm going to be playing some Kansas City. Going to be playing some Detroit. They're in. Let's take a look at St. Louis against Burns. Is DeJong done in the lineup? We don't have that in. Let's see. He's not projected in. Do we have a Cardinals lineup, for crying out loud? No, we don't even have a Cardinals lineup yet. They're going to be nothing owned. Any weak positions? Edmund, do I need second baseman? Do I need third baseman? Okay, well, I'm going to get rid of them all. Maybe we'll bring them back. Minnesota. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to play any Minnesota stacks, but I could see Power, Kepler batting fourth. Is that happening? I know we have the lineup. Someone posted the lineup. I kind of want to play lefties. Lefties, baby. Larnach. So maybe play lefty one-offs. Polanco. Kepler's Polanco in the lineup. What's going on here? Yeah, Polanco's in the lineup. Arias doesn't have that much power, but I don't mind. Okay. Let's take out Donaldson, Cruz, Garver, I guess. We do that. Okay, we have 4 of them in here. So I'm really curtailing my player pool. Okay, we still got Atlanta in here. Ugh, 41% Acuna. Ugh. All right, take a look through. Who do we have on St. Louis? Who do I still have on St. Louis? No, oh, the pitcher. That's why it's coming up. Make sure I got the pitchers in that I need. Go through here. Lynn, Corbin, Morton, Flaherty, and Burns. So where's Burns? Take Burns in. There you go. So I'm only making 20 lineups. So basically, we're looking at Washington, right? I left them in, right? I left Washington. So we're looking at Washington, Kansas City, Detroit, and the White Sox. That's pretty much what we're looking at, right? There's no one else. Everything else would be a one-off. So you got Washington, Kansas City, Detroit, Chicago White Sox. So now I go to stacks, right? Take that off, put that back on. So if we just started just from like we wanted exactly the amount, that would be 25, 25, 25, and 25. Okay, just to see. We're just doing this to see. I'm building 5-man stacks. Okay. So we're just doing this to see. And I build. What do we get? What do we get? Okay, we get a lot of Burns. Burns Morton. Okay. How much Acuna? Do we get Acuna one-offs? Yeah. 12 of them. Ugh. Do I really want that? Because I'm playing a lot of Tigers. That's the reason why. Because this is what'll happen. Right? You'll get Morton, Burns. Because remember, we made the player groups, to not play Flaherty and Burns together. So basically, the Tigers always end up with like Acuna. So if I want my Acuna ownership to go down, my Tigers ownership needs to go down. My Tigers exposure needs to go down. I get Soto, but I don't mind. I'm playing Washington stacks. I don't mind that much. So I'm looking through here, and I still have a Rhys Hoskins one-off. That's fine. I also take a look at my pitchers, and it's giving me a lot more Burns than Flaherty. I think it's primarily due to the Tigers. Those Tiger stacks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the stacks. Now, obviously, on the build rules, I could set my minimum and make it a little bit lower. But I'm just going to keep it at 49.5 for now. I'm going to play less of the Tigers. So 10% with 2 lineups, 3 lineups. Maybe more than the White Sox. 40%. Maybe more of Washington, less of Kansas City. 20 there. Is that good? Let's see what this looks like. Maybe I go down even further. Maybe I only get 15%. Maybe I'm really gonna go on the White Sox today. 15, 25. Do something like that. Let's see what this looks like. Let's see what it looks like. It's not a very interesting podcast if you're listening to it. Okay, I get all the Burns and Morton. I still get Acuna. I still get Acuna, right? Take a look at this. Tigers. I mean, this is just Burns, Morton, Acuna. Still get plenty of Acuna. We're going to play that much Acuna. Okay, but do I want to play all the Burns and the Morton? No. I'm going to go back into my player pool. I actually want to play more Flaherty, if anything. So maybe I cap Burns at 20. Cap Morton at 50. And then see what happens. See what happens. Then we're going to build that. Okay, so we get way more Flaherty. But I also get way more Acuna because we can pay up for him. This is why Acuna is going to be high owned. Yeah, now I understand. Are there any high price guys that I can play that aren't Acuna? Let's take a look at the excluded by salary. Bo Bichette, but I'm playing more. Nelson Cruz, righty. Harper's going to be owned. Donaldson, Mitch Garver, I could pay up for that. It's Lance Lynn. Maybe I do more of that. Yeah, let me put in Cruz. At 7% owned, that isn't bad. Donaldson, 5%. Maybe okay. Let's get these Minnesota guys back in against Lance Lynn. People aren't going to play. And he hasn't done bad, right? Right? I mean, he has a long leash or whatever. but he could give up some home runs, right? Okay, so let's get just for the sake of not having the Braves. Do I want to play a Drelton Simmons? Probably not. Not at that. Put that back. Because what this is going to do is going to get me less Acuna, right? This is the whole goal, is to get less Acuna without doing putting the minimum salary down to like 2,000. So maybe I do play some Minnesota. So let's go to Minnesota. We'll play 2 lineups. All right, 2 lineups like that. You have to decrease something else. I still want the White Sox. The White Sox at the Nationals. It's 100% there. Maybe we don't even play as much of the Tigers or the Royals. The Royals had the highest ceiling, so let's just put them up over there. 45 there. Okay, now let's see what we get. Okay, Flaherty. We still get a lot of Acuna. Still get the Acuna. So I'm gonna cap Acuna to 4 lineups. Okay. It's gonna bump up Soto probably. So I'm doing this. Well, now I don't even want to play Lance Lynn anymore. So now we're done. Okay. Put this up to 25. Because now we don't have Lance Lynn. So we get 25 Burns, Flaherty, 70, yeah, something like that. And 50. Okay, no, this makes sense. This should work. Get 20 lineups like this. So we get Flaherty, right? That's what we should be getting. Flaherty, exactly as I wanted. Half the lineups with Morton, half the lineups with Corbin, 75% with Flaherty, and 25% with Burns. Okay, beautiful. But now I'm getting way too much. It's like Soto one-offs, which I think I'm fine with a little bit more. I got Acuna down, 20% Acuna. Got some Albies and Azuna in there. Okay. Well, let's try to get Soto out of there as well. Let's put Soto down to 40%. Getting Benintendi, Perez, Zach Collins, Eaton, Lamb, cheap catcher. Let's see the pitcher combinations. Morton Burns, Morton Burns, Morton Burns, Morton Burns, Morton Burns, Morton Flaherty, Morton Flaherty, Flaherty. Do we get Corbin Burns? Corbin Burns. Do we get any Corbin? Not really. Do I mind that? I don't know. We got a Soto one-off, 49.8. Let me take a look at my ownership numbers. 228, but this is fine. Oh, bottom of the order. Do I want to do this? Bottom of the order. Oh, there are the away team. 1, 3, 5, 8, 9. Do I really want to do that? I could. 9% Michael Taylor. Is that doable? Should we be doing that? I don't know. Do I want to do that? How much Michael Taylor do I have in 2 lineups? Why? Do I need that? Now I'm going to sort by team just to see what my stacks look like. Okay, so I got pretty much everyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who am I missing? Who am I missing on the White Sox? Eden, Vaughn, Lurie, Hamilton, right? Who put up 1,000,000 points yesterday? That who I'm missing? Okay, I got pretty much here. Got there. Michael Taylor, Nicky Lopez. Do I want to play them together in that type of lineup? Let's see. We're almost done. We're almost done. Yeah, I'll do it quickly. So I'm going to just take out Lopez, Taylor. So they're not playing together. Taylor, hello. Michael, A. Taylor. I don't know. Do I want to bottom of the order Royal stack? I'm not sure about that. Let me rebuild. Okay, we got the Flaherty, these builds. Tim Anderson with Merrifield. Okay, so what's second base look like? Yeah, because I don't have much there. That's the reason I'm getting all the Merrifield. Put that down to 50%. Pitchers, good. Catchers. What else am I going to do? I have a bunch of Perez. Maybe get a little bit less so I can get a little bit more Garver in there. 100%. Let's see. Abreu. Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Second base, we already got. Third base, Makeda, Lamb. Okay, we're good. We're rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. Shortstop, Anderson. Beautiful. Let's go. Outfield. Soto. Do I want that much Benintendi? Probably not. Schwarber, Cruz. We're over on Cruz. Got Lamb, who's outfield eligible. We still got some Acuna, but not much. Bump that down. 2 lineups. Given to maybe I should even X them out. Do I want to play a 41% owned Acuna? It's not going to be that owned. I look at this. I look at that. Okay, now let's run it again for 20 lineups. Let's see. Let's see, all the way at the bottom. We got there. We got that. We got Josh Harrison. I'm not getting enough of him now. Because now I'm playing more Twins than I am. What happened there? More Twins than I am Nationals. Okay, I'm almost done. We're almost there. Tim Anderson. Yeah, give me all the. Yeah, we're gonna go heavy on the White Sox today. Nelson Cruz. Okay, as opposed to obviously Acuna as the one-off, right? Garver. I want to make sure get more Garver. Harrison. Bell has been awful. Bell has been absolutely not so awful. But whatever. We'll play him. Turner's good. Soto left at 40%. Cruz 30%. Let's see if that helps. Okay. Abreu, Corbin, Merrifield at 50. Soto, Perez, Eaton. Yeah, we're just going heavy on that game, or than other people. So we got the Tigers there. We got Bell. Do I have enough Bell? Is he in the middle of that Nationals order? No, he's at the. Oh, he's batting 6. Okay, I'm fine with that then. Sano there, Arias, Robles. Good. I think we're good. I think it's good enough. Right? I'm going to look at my ownership. 219. Is this doable? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with Acuna, Trey Turner, Whit Merrifield. I got Morton in there. That's close. That's cutting it. Moncada, Acuna. Acuna's just making this ownership go way up. Right? That's what's really causing it. But I have Morton in there. And that should be enough. This should be enough. But this may be my single entry lineup. Do I want to put the Acuna lineup in a single entry? That would be the question. Let's take a look at fantasy points, high to low. Okay, fantasy points high to low. This is the highest. It's a royal stack with Robbie Grossman, Turner, and so it's a 5-2-1 with Burns and Morton. It's the high, and it doesn't have Acuna. So I don't mind this in single entry because Acuna is going to be even higher owned in single entry. So yeah, let's do this. Let's do it. We did it. I think I'm good. Got the leverage. Playing some White Sox. Hopefully Toronto and Atlanta game doesn't go off. Hopefully Burns and Flaherty don't go off together for a 0-0 game. The Phillies I barely got, and I hope Corbin has a good game against them. Right? So there. Those are my strategic choices. How do I get slightly different to pitcher? Okay, well, why don't I play Corbin or Morton? Well, that means I don't play Toronto, and that also means I don't play Philadelphia, which then means I have to play other teams. So which teams are going underrepresented? I think the White Sox more so than the other teams. Now, underrepresented would be the Cardinals and the Brewers, sure. But of course, I mean, they're the lowest projected teams against the highest projected pitchers. I've already gotten different enough. I don't have to get that nutso. If I wanted to play a Brave stack and then intermix and then not play Burns in that lineup and play 3 hitters against him, okay, you could do that. I'm not choosing to do that. So I got this. Here we go. These are my actual lineups. This is what I will. You're seeing it live right now. Literally putting it in right now. There we go. I got, the Benintendi, the Michael A. Taylor in single entry. Oh my God! Oh, you played Michael A. Taylor in single entry. Okay, well, so be it. That's what the lineup says. That's what the lineup says. Not going to argue with the lineup monster, people. Paste that into my Excel file. Save that over there. We're going to go to DraftKings. I'm going to upload the CSV. There we go. I always have to check on my phone to just make sure. Sometimes. There we go. Done. So now there you go. You saw me build lineups. Now, obviously, you would also have Slate IQ for the later slate. You can take a look at that. But there you go. There's 20 lineups. Now, a lot of times I'm building 100 lineups. But for 20 lineups, there you go. You see how much of an iteration it is. What do you decide to do? What does this look like? Oh, I'm getting this. I'm getting that. Oh, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? I'm getting way too much Acuna no matter what I do. But I have to replace Acuna with some other higher price guy. And who am I going to do it with? Or I either take more Soto or I find a different guy. So I'm like, okay, is anyone going to play Nelson Cruz against Lance Lynn? Probably not. It'd be low owned. Yes, he's a less play. Yes. I'd rather, raw points wise, better matchup wise, better everything. I'd rather Acuna. I'd rather Soto. But the difference between 41% and 7% ownership is just, Acuna is not going to outscore Cruz 4-1. So I'll play Cruz in those lineups, right? And if Atlanta goes off today and the Phillies go off today, you know what happens? I just lose. That's just the way it is. But if that doesn't happen, if they don't go off, I have a good shot at taking first place, right? I got some of my Tiger stacks, right? Which I got a contrarian pitcher in. I got contrarian stacks that I have, chalk pitchers in, right? I mean, I'm happy with this, right? A little too much Adam Eaton, but whatever. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. White Sox. Hopefully the ownership stands up. If Corbin comes in at single-digit ownership, I'll be happy. Morton, these pitchers come in at single-digit ownership. That means the stacks against them are going to be even higher owned. I'll be happy. Once I see the ownership, that's when I determine if I'm happy or not. Results, whatever happens, it happens. So there you go. Was that interesting? Michael Dompier asks, can you talk a few seconds about the Flaherty-Burns player group? Is it ownership or other? Both. They're the 2 highest owned pitchers. So they happen to be in the same game. Okay? So obviously only one of them could get the win. So they are slightly negatively correlated because only one of them could get the win. They're also the 2 highest owned pitchers. So once I group them away from each other, the ownership of your whole lineup goes down also. So you could have that group if you want, if there were 2 high owned picks. If yesterday you said Cole Woodruff, separate them because you think they're too high, you could do that also if you want. It's only a 5-game slate. If it was a larger slate, I wouldn't have to do as much because I could get different in so many other places. But on a 5-game slate, I mean, the easiest way is to just, if one pitcher is going to be 60% owned and the other pitcher is going to be 50% owned, that's 110% worth of ownership just in your pitcher slot. So what's the easiest way to not be as owned, to eliminate ownership? Acuna, 41% owned. If you just put a lineup and you just, let's say you could even make a group, you could mix them up. Let's say you do Flaherty, Burns, and you could do Acuna also, and just take the highest owned people and say, I only want one of them, or I only want 2 of them. Right? You could do that just to make sure. But you could also use the build rules and use the max total lineup ownership and go 100, which means like Burns and Flaherty can't be in the same lineups together, right? Because they don't automatically equal 100. It'll be over 100. So that'll do that. But this is more of a blunt tool, right? So I don't like using that as much if I need to. I used 3 unique players just to get some, diversification, even in 20 lineups. But you don't have to. You could have done 2, been more similar lineups. But there you go. And I'm rooting against Toronto. I'm rooting against the chalk. If the chalk fails, the White Sox don't have to put up 14 runs. The chalk fails and the White Sox put up 8 runs. They could be the winning lineup and could be the winning stack on a 5-game slate. But you also see here, I didn't have to go crazy and go, well, let me stack against Burns and stack against Flaherty, right? So some people think that way. Oh, I'm gonna be crazy. 20 lineups, right? Cardinals lineups against Burns. You can do that, but I mean, just understand that's much lower probability. When you're right, you have a chance to win a lot of money, but you're not going to be right that often. You're going to be right and you build 20 of those lineups, you're more likely to lose all your money, right? You'll win one every God knows how long, and you'll lose all of your money every slate until then, which you could do. You could. But I just thought there were other routes. Based on our ownership projections, there were other routes. So I hope this was valuable. But you could see here, am I looking at stats? What am I looking at? The projections are already made, right? I already looked at the projections. I looked at the player projections. I looked at what the ownership is. I go, where's the disparities? Where are the inefficiencies? And how do I build plus EV lineups for the contest I'm in that take advantage of that? Right? Should Acuna be 41% owned? No. Do I want to play Burns and Flaherty in the same lineup as a chalk pitcher combination on a 5-game slate? No. So I have to get that. So I need to, if I'm not going to do that, I have to play another pitcher. And that's why I had Lynn in the pool. So I'm like, okay, I'll play some Lynn. And then once I saw that if I didn't play, if I do that, I'm still ending up playing like Acuna and Soto, and I'm paying up for one-offs. It's like, why don't I pay up for a Cruz one-off? And then once I have Cruz as a one-off, why am I playing Lance Lynn then? So there you go. It kind of all works out together. You see it. And then you build the lineups and you see what happens. You go, I'm getting a little too much of this guy. Do I want that much? No, okay. I cut it down and then run it again and see what happens, right? So here you go. I ended up with less Detroit than I originally planned on, primarily because they're a cheap stack. And if I'm not playing Burns and Flaherty together, I don't need the cheap stack. And if I'm not playing Acuna or Soto one-offs at 5K plus, I don't need a cheap stack. I'm not playing Phillies. I don't need a cheap stack. So it means that I'm going to be playing less Detroit, which is fine. This is fine with me. If the teams that I have do well, and the teams that I don't have don't, I got a shot. Got a shot today. We finally got the Cardinals lineup. I don't know if anyone's playing those. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. Do I even have? No, I didn't even end up with any Cardinals in my lineups anyway. So there you go. This is what I do. Now, obviously, it doesn't take me 40 minutes to do because I'm explaining it as I'm doing this. That whole process that I showed, I could do in 7 to 10 minutes. Right? That's it. How long does that take? And I'm doing it a lot of times for even more lineups, 100 lineups. Plum, you see, I make some checks. I say, okay, is this good? Okay, am I getting too much of that? Based on what I'm telling the builder to do. The builder's not telling me. The builder would, if I just listen to the optimizer, it'd be like, I'm giving you all the Acuna, and you should be playing all the Acuna. Just play all the Acuna, please. Play all the Acuna. And I'm telling it, no. Strategically, I do not think that's the best direction. Make the lineups I want to make, lineup HQ, and that's what I tell it. And I got the White Sox. I got the Nationals. I got the Royals. I got what I wanted. I got more Flaherty than Burns. Before telling it would give me all the Burns over Flaherty. Well, I want the Flaherty over Burns. And that's how I manipulate. I made the settings, so I got the lineups that I wanted to get. Even though I'm not thrilled about having Michael A. Taylor in single entry, mathematically, that's the highest projected lineup I made. So let's go with it. Let's root for Michael A. Taylor on the Royals this afternoon. Hit the thumbs up button if you like more of this. I mean, I could do more of this. It's just that, You know, when we're on early in the morning, we have no lineups for like later slates. A 7 o'clock slate. What am I going to do? No point in going through that process. We don't even have any of the information. But when there is an early slate like we have today, okay. But maybe some people don't like this. Maybe there's going to be tons of thumbs downs, right? Oh, this is boring. I don't know. You tell me, right? And if you don't have Lineup HQ with all the functions that I showed you, sign up for RotoGrinders Premium. Hit the link in the description. Get $10 off your first month. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out the door. You kept my apple juice cold while I was building lineups. Let's see if these lineups hit, right? Slate locks in 9 minutes, right? Well, not all the games, but I mean the contest lock in 9 minutes. And let's see. Let's go White Sox. White Sox and Nationals and Royals, I guess. And Corbin and Morton against Blue Jays and Phillies. And if it doesn't work out, you know what? There's a slate tonight. Oh my God. Remember, I'm not looking to make lineups that is the most probable. I'm just looking for lineups that are more probable than what the field thinks that they're probable. And that's it. That's it. So there you go. There you go. It's not complicated. It really did anything I do was that complicated? No, I don't think so. So I'll be here tomorrow as usual. Casual Friday. It's always casual here. Anyway, so give a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell to know when we go live. We got, NBA Grinders live later today. MLB Grinders live. Crunch time for premium members. I'll see you tomorrow. As I always do, Monday through Friday, 11 o'clock in the morning Easterns. For the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.